And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello, we are live. It is so exciting with all the things going on. We've got presidential things. We got fighters in the White House. Maybe not in the White House, but in the Capitol. We got all kinds of things going on, things to talk about. I saw Dana White. Josh, I couldn't believe it, man. I'm sitting there. I'm watching the whole inauguration thing. And here out comes Dana, and that's awesome. He's got his wife there, and it's all cool. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, that's really good. And then all of a sudden, he's got his seat, and then they bring out the Clintons. They bring out the Bushes, and here's Dana White with all of them sitting around him, man. And I'm like, he's got Barack Obama on one side, the Clintons on another, and I go, this is the dude that I fucking met 25 fucking years ago. Fucking, he was nothing but, he was a fight manager when I met him. And I mean, just, it's amazing. Life is a fucking freak show. Life is so fucking funny, and the things that you freaking end up, being part of, or seeing someone else that being part of something like that, it was like, all right, I would never ever would have imagined in my fucking wildest dreams that this is what I would see. But way to go, Dana. I'm saying it with the utmost respect. The fact that you have attained that, congratulations.
Yeah, I think it's I think this proves right there in somewhere in this whole thing. I know there's something that lies here that I want to talk about from the last show, but that also it lies together in this. And what it is the loyalty.
Yeah.
Between the two, between Donald Trump, between Dana White, and you can see it. You can see it. I didn't know about it in the past until obviously the COVID and the presidency and all that stuff had happened in 2016, 2020 and all that stuff. I didn't see or hear. I didn't know the backstory behind Dana and Trump and like getting into the Trump Tower and having the events there.
Yeah, but they're not telling you the other side, because I can tell you about the other side too. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll give you a reverse on this whole thing.
What's the other side?
The other side is 2008 affliction comes about, right? And the whole thing is, Trump becomes part of it. In fact, I'm in the freaking Anaheim fucking, I guess it was the Pond at the time. It might be the Honda Center then at that time too, but I don't know. But, and I get this, John, right? And I hear, and I kind of stop and I look and I don't see anything. And John again, and I look and it's Donald Trump calling my name, right? And I'm like, hello, sir. How are you doing? He goes, hold on a second. And he comes down and brings his son. And he says, I'd like to introduce you to my son, right? And I said, well, very nice to meet you, right? Whole thing. And I'm like, how in the fuck did you remember my name? Right? And it was like one of those things. But at the time, Trump actually became a name and part of affliction. And Dana was pissed, and Dana, and it was the whole thing. And I knew that they had a good relationship. And I asked him at the time, I said, Dana a little pissed off? And she says, business is business. We'll work it out. It's no big deal. That's it. And it goes right along with Lorenzo's thing. Friendship is friendship, but business is business.
Interesting. Interesting. I guess for me, obviously the loyalty carried on. They worked it out. Absolutely. Whatever it was. Affliction didn't last long anyway, so it wasn't like it did much. They burned through money pretty quick and hold it up pretty quickly. That being said, he's like, hey, let me just keep doing my thing and you do your thing over there in the real estate industry. It was good to see. It was nice to see, like, Tim Kennedy was there. I saw Bryce Mitchell was there. Conor McGregor was there. The
John Jones, Gordon Ryan, George St. Pierre. I mean,
Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel. Who's who?
Okay, so good for them, man. I think that's it's definitely a step in the right direction. There's no
Josh.
Think
about this. You have how many football players did you see there? How many baseball players?
I wasn't paying attention that much.
Okay, I don't care if you were or not, because you just didn't see a lot of. Maybe there was one, but MMA in the year 2025 has all these athletes at the inauguration of a president of the United States. Tell me that we haven't come somewhere from when you started, from definitely when I started. I mean, tell me we haven't actually. When in your wildest dreams did you think, oh yeah, we'd have a bunch of representatives from our sport with the president?
We went from human cockfighting by the
Exactly.
by Arizona, Senator
John McCain, my favorite guy,
sitting front row at the inauguration, or one row back, behind. I think he was behind the Vance, wasn't he?
Who?
Dana.
No, Dana was right behind Bill and Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and George Bush and his wife. I mean, it was like, look at that.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great too.
I think it's wonderful. Like I said, it's proof that the sport has come a long way.
Fuck yes.
People may take a dig and say, it's. Anyways, I think it's great. Look. There's gonna be obviously half people are gonna think, oh, Dana's a sellout. Dana's this. Dana's doing this. They're gonna think that way. It's no different than like how I'm gonna talk thinking. How this whole loyalty thing kind of comes together. Dana and him have been friends for a long time. They had to work out the affliction thing.
Sure.
Didn't know that. But now, look at what they've done. He's asked him to speak, at the what is it? The CPAC
rallies.
The rallies and all the
asked him to speak at both Republican
convention.
all the
convention, yeah.
Hold on. I want to say now it's been 3.
Yeah. So I mean,
he's spoken at 3.
Yeah, so their friendship has definitely grown over the years, and Joe Rogan also being a huge part of that as well.
Joe Rogan was there.
Yes, he was. I did.
Look at that again.
Yep. And so you had Joe there.
Who would have ever thought that Joe Rogan would be sitting at the inauguration of Donald Trump?
John,
and Joe, come on.
John, it goes beyond that. Theo fucking Vaughn was there.
Dude, I know. Did you see his chair broke?
I saw it. I feel bad for him.
What was it?
What happened? His chair broke.
His chair broke as the whole thing was going on. He fell right into Logan Paul.
Yeah. But Theo Vaughn, man, like, I mean, look, Theo was you could tell on all of his posts when he was talking about, it's crazy. I'm just like this kid that came from nothing basically, and now I'm sitting here
from some guy stealing plums with his friends, man.
Oh man, it's great. I love it though. I think it's great. I think it's headed in the right direction. I like the fact that mainstream media is kind of being shut out right now, and I think that the new media sources are all being available. Whether it is Joe Rogan, whether it's Patrick McDavid, whether it's Jordan Peterson, whether it's Theo Vaughn, whether it's whoever. I like the direction of which people are coming, and you can have input and have a sit-down conversation, not this 4 minutes of quick sound bites and trash talk between each other. And okay, hurry up and get them off the screen so we can move on to something else. That shit drives me crazy. And actually have a conversation with somebody. It makes a big difference how you get your news and your information. It gets depressing listening to any news. I don't give a shit if it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. Fuck, put a gumbo on my mouth listening to fucking Rachel Maddow. Gosh, man, disgusting.
Why?
Dude, they did a little skit about her the other day. She did look like Harry Potter in one of her little tidbits there with her glasses, and she looked like an older Harry Potter with her chin. I think her chin this way. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's move along. Look, I wanted to talk about loyalty because look, I do read some of the comments. I got bashed in the comments because I'm a loyal friend. And
wow, hey, so I want you, just even before you start, I want you to make sure that you listen to these comments, because God knows it's not good to be a loyal friend. So don't do that. Okay. You need to stop. You need to freaking get off of that train.
Yeah.
Start listening to those comments. That's why I don't read the comments.
Yeah. Look, let me preface this whole thing by saying first, and I said this the other day, Merab fought a great fight. I did not give him credit. The credit was, I gave him plenty of credit. He fought a great fight. The cardio, the endurance, all those things. And like I said, I actually thought Merab won the fight. And that's tough for me to say because the third round was close. I went back and watched it. Third round was close. Fifth round, I gave it to Merab. So I had to go based on that third round. I gave 1 and 2. Very clear cut. I felt like 1 and 2 was clear cut for Umar. And I thought 4 and 5 were very clear cut for Merab.
And here's one of the things that I saw. They had like Merab landing more strikes in round. I don't know who was the one pushing the button. I went back and watched round 1. He misses so many times with the shots, and it's like, I mean, it was clear that Umar won that round. He landed the heavier shots by far, and he landed more, in my opinion, even though I think their stat guy said, I don't know what he was giving Merab.
John Anik has several times said, hey, he's 3 for 3 on takedowns, but yet we haven't seen him shoot one takedown. Look, don't read too much into these stats. I hate to say it, but let's be honest. And that's happened to us with Bellator as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How has this guy got 18 significant strikes? There's only 7 strikes thrown. How does he have 18 significant strikes? Let's just be honest. Like the takedowns, the whatever it is. Look, beyond all that, the bottom line is Merab deserves his due credit. He fought a very smart fight. He understood where his strengths lied. He had a great fight IQ. He understood, hey, I may give up rounds 1 and 2.
And I think that's what he did.
Yeah.
I'm still
going to be there 3, 4, and 5. And he showed that. The fight was very close. Yeah. And so that's what's funny. It
was a great fight.
It's just funny to read. People, you're so biased. It's unbearable to listen to you talk about Umar and Habib and Islam. Why? Because I'm normally always right. Is that why it's hard? Because they are winning. Like, you guys have this built up energy about not liking them because they're good. And that's what's really kind of disgusting about fans.
That is crazy.
That's nuts that people they hate to see other people succeed. The kid's 29 years old, was undefeated until this moment, suffered a broken hand, I believe, in the first round. I'm sorry, but I had a broken hand, broken thumb, and a fractured bone in my wrist and tore some ligaments. John knows. Yeah. And it does change the way you fight. It doesn't hurt it sometimes, and it goes numb it sometimes, but it sure the hell hurts when you touch it. Oh. And when you look at it and your hand doesn't look the way it's supposed to, it's kind of disgusting. It kind of makes me want to throw up in my mouth. And so, look, you saw his hand. You can't not give him credit, not only just for that, for finishing the fight. Like, there's been plenty of fighters that have gone through it with broken hands, but to think that, look, he suffered that in his first fight, in his first loss, a broken hand in the first round. It sucks. It's very unfortunate. That will also affect your conditioning and cardio because your mind starts to play tricks on you. You believe, like, gosh, you're fighting from behind, even though he wasn't behind in the first 2 rounds. He was not fighting from behind. And I'm loyal to my boys. They fight their asses off. They do everything they're supposed to do to be great. And he's done everything he's supposed to do to be great. It's unfortunate that he broke his hand. I can't say whether the fight would have been any different, but to say, and the other thing, he had takedowns against Merab where everyone's like, oh, he's going to dominate Merab's going to dominate the takedowns. It was a very evenly matched when it came to takedown situations. So I don't understand what people were talking about when I went back and watched the fight. Umar had some great takedowns and he had some great takedown defense. And Merab had some great takedown defense as well, especially later in the fight. But let's not take away the fact that Umar's hand was broken. How hard is it to lock your hands, or how hard is it to finish a takedown with a broken hand? So all of these things being said, Merab obviously deserved to win. I had Merab winning the fight. It was a close fight. It's unfortunate that Umar broke his hand. Merab, I'm looking forward to seeing who he fights next. Umar's 29. He'll be back. I'm not concerned. I'm truly not concerned.
We talked about it. It's like, especially if you look at Umar's career, he never truly faced adversity. And just in the first round with the hand, and I talked to Jason Herzog. I said, hey, did you know that he had broken his hand? He goes, I didn't. He goes, he never said it in the corner.
Javier didn't even know.
Yeah, I know. And he said, he never said it in the corner. He goes, unless he was saying it in Russian at times, but most of the time he was conversing in English with stuff. He goes, I had no idea. He goes, the way that he actually fought that fight with his hand, the way it looked after I saw it after it was over. He goes, man, he goes, what a tough kid. It's just incredible. And this is when we say, look, you're going to learn things from losses, and you learn how to deal with adversities in those situations in a calmer fashion, because when it's the first time that it happens, yeah, you panic a little bit. You think, because you haven't been hurt like that. You haven't had these things that you've had to overcome. And it takes some certain mindset to just tell yourself, it's okay, man. I just keep on doing what I'm doing. If I have to just not throw that hand, then I won't throw that hand. But it's a tough situation. I've heard too many, corners tell their fighters, hey, just punch with it until it'll go numb. And I'm thinking, no, it won't.
No.
Because if you've ever broken your hand, and I have, and I've seen yours broken, man, to punch with it, that's a motherfucker.
It goes numb until you touch it, and
then it hurts like a son of a bitch.
Super painful. So look, I look at him, like the fact that he didn't tell Javier or he didn't tell Khabib, that's a huge mistake. They could have adjusted the game plan. They could have done something a little bit differently. Could have offered more kicks. Said, look, keep range, keep distance with your kicks. All those
kicks
things
up the middle instead of throwing the left hand.
An injury changes the way a fighter fights. That's one. Sure. Two is it starts to affect their conditioning, their cardio, because it weighs on their mind. What do I do? How do I get around this? I can't do the things I normally do. That definitely affects your conditioning. It gives you that anxiety that burns your conditioning and your cardio.
Yeah.
It really stresses you out. It's almost like, when they tell you the day before the fight or the day of, like normally just kind of lay in bed, read a book, do something that keeps your mind off things, because you don't want to get an adrenaline dump, get all built up, and then go out there and your first 30 seconds, you blow your wad. That's not what you want to do. He's very composed, very calm. The fact he didn't tell Javier, that's a rookie mistake. He'll learn from that so they can make the adjustments for next time. Yeah. But in absolutely no way am I discrediting Merab. So those of you guys that thought that, or they believe that you heard that, then you're hearing things. Pull your heads out of your ass. Merab deserves all the credit. I even actually said that I thought he won the fight. But if they would have given it to Umar, I've been like, okay, it was such a good fight. It was a great fight. Watching those two guys get after it was awesome. It was a great fight. It's exactly what I was expecting it to be. I even said I had that fight going the distance.
But it's also, we both had it. We said, I don't see Umar being able to finish Merab, and I don't see Merab being able to finish Umar. It's one of those, you look and you go, a lot of it, when you go back and you watch the fight, it is super close. But a lot of, when you look at a fighter like Merab, and he is full of energy, and his opponent is not, it just makes everything that he does look a little bit better too. And everything that the opponent's doing, or Umar, makes it just not look quite as good, because they look tired. They look slower than they normally are. They're not moving the same. And Merab's got that pep. That's one of his weapons, is that cardio. That cardio he has. And, John Wood, I'm sure, was one of the ones, hey, that we're going to have gas in the third, fourth, fifth round. That's when we're going to really step on it. And that's when we're going to push them over the cliff. I'm sure that was part of their game plan, because it's a weapon that they can utilize in the fight.
Which is very strange to me, because I see Umar always has great conditioning. Usman, his brother, always has great conditioning. Islam has been up and down, I believe, because of the weight cut.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a bigger lightweight. He does cut a lot of weight, but there's other guys that obviously cut more, to be honest. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Khabib always cut a lot of weight, but he had great cardio and conditioning as well. Overall, a great performance by both fighters. Merab deserved the win. Umar will be back. Just little mistakes here and there in that fight, and then he's gonna have to make those changes. I sent him a message today.
It's a bump in the road, dude.
Yeah. But look, to go back to my original point, the loyalty with Dana and with Trump, my loyalty to these guys is gonna always be this way, and I don't give a shit what you guys say or what people think. My bottom line is look, I've had these conversations, just like how Donald Trump did Affliction. We had Conor McGregor on here. Yeah. And I know it was a big deal for our podcast to have that. I didn't think that Khabib or Islam or any of them would take that personal. It's like, hey, it's a big deal. They got pretty upset with me in terms of, they never talked to me about it until I saw them. Hey, why do you do this? Like, why have him on? And I said, look, it was a business decision. It's like, oh, brother, this is not business. This is friendship. We're loyal to you and this and that. And I was like, I understood from that moment, like, this was something that had to be said face to face, not through DMs on Instagram, not through WhatsApp, through calls. It had to be done face to face. And I appreciate that. And I respect all of them for the conversations I've had with them. Even Ali was kind of involved in it too. Cause like, hey, he's like, look, Khabib is waiting to see you and talk to you in person. And there was a lot that was not there. I could tell that there was some problem. There was a problem there. And I'd heard it through the grapevine, that it was because of the Conor interview, having Conor on the podcast. I I will forever, because as we get older, John, and you know this, I will forever take that into consideration anytime I do something now, is because you have a handful of people that you can call friends. You being one,
That's
Dave
true.
being another, and as you get older, they're not around as much. And so the ones that you do have, hold on to them. I like the ones that you cannot talk to for years. And you run into them, and it's like you guys never skip the beat. I'll give you another example. Last week or 2 weeks ago when I was in California, I called up Habib and I said, "Hey, I have a friend who's very sick who lives in Las Vegas." I knew they were training in Las Vegas. And I said, I'd like if you would, meet him. And he's like, I said, he's got cancer. He's dealing with something. His kids are young. His oldest son, I think, is a freshman or sophomore, and the other ones just get younger from there. He's a fan. He's, obviously a fan. And so I said, if you get a chance, an opportunity, he's like, you come. He's like, come by. He's like, we'll jump in the car. I'll go to wherever you want me to go. Didn't even hesitate. Like he's like, and he's like, if when the guys are done training, if you wait, they come too.
That's what a friend is, though.
That's what a friend does.
Right.
And just understanding the situation, that meant a lot to me. I ended up not driving through Vegas and making it, but it was there. He made sure that, like, hey, whatever you need, I'm there. People these days with all this TikTok shit and all this other Instagram influencer bullshit, that's not the business, man. The business is, you look at the guys that are successful and look at how small their circle is, but look at how tight they are. Joe Rogan with all of his friends. I just saw this thing. I think it was with Shannon Sharp. He literally said, how come black people can't be this way, where we just have a tight group of friends, where we just help lift each other up? And their conversation was great. I can't remember who he was talking to. I want to say it was Ryan Clark. The bottom line is that Joey Diaz, Theo Vaughn, Brennan Shaw, Brian Callen, they're all lifting each other up every single second they can. All the time. The MMA community needs to jump on this bandwagon and follow what he's doing. It's this proven success. I don't understand it. You think because, look, Dana Lynn pushed Trump to Theo, pushed Trump to Joe. And look at them. They're all there together now, building each other up. It's contagious.
It is.
And if you guys can't be that way, that's the way I want to be, and that's the way I plan to be. And so that's the point here. I guess my loyalty goes beyond like just the fight in the conversation. I care for these guys. I want the best for these guys. I'll never stop doing that. You
just brought up something, and I forgot to say at the beginning. I want to say, Joey Diaz, man, brother, get well. Joey was in the hospital, got a little bit ill there, had a little bit of problems, but he's home now, getting better. Joey, you know that we're always here for you, brother. Anything you need, and just get well fast, my friend. So
Joey got the biggest heart of them all, man.
Dude, Joey is so goddamn good. I mean, you talk about a guy that's got a heart of gold. Funniest motherfucker there is, man. He is. He will have you laughing the entire time, man.
Yeah, he's got a big heart, man. You can tell just the way that people talk about him, even when, like, it's just in quick conversation. Some of the first thing they're like, hey, they're talking about Joey in terms of like, oh, I remember this story about Joey. Man, Joey's a great guy. It's almost everything that comes out. Man, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever been, I've ever known. There's always something positive people talk about him. Just a great person.
Yep.
Anyways, that's going to wrap up on that talk, on that conversation. Is there anything
else?
Let's go ahead and talk. Dave, I think, did you want to talk about the weights right now, or do you want to talk about the fights?
Nah, let's wait. Let's wait on the fights.
Yeah, so there was a few things from the fallout of the pay-per-view. You guys obviously touched on the first one there. The MMA Junkie posted the weight of the main event fighters, Moicano and Makhachev, at the night of the fight. And I don't know if they were trying to point out significance. It doesn't seem like they're really making a point, but I just wanted to give you guys a chance to touch on the weight. Islam on fight night was 178 and Moicano was almost 182.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you have the weight, anytime the fights are in California does a weigh-in the night of the fight, and they do it because they have a protocol for how much weight they want you to lose, and if you break a percentage for that, they're going to want to push you up into another weight class, and they'll actually give you a suspension based upon basically exactly what you're seeing with Moicano. They're going from 155 to 181. they're going to say that's too much of a jump. It's going to break their percentage on what they have. And so, but you look at that, and, you know, and I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, Moicano was, you know, small," and I go, "Damn, Josh and I talked about that he looked even bigger than Islam." So I mean, I'm surprised you're saying that, but this right here shows that the night of the fight, he weighed more than Islam did, and you know, no matter what, this. Just when you look at this, and you know, you were talking about Islam has had problems with weight cuts, and Habib had problems with weight cuts. Josh, you know, how long ago was it that you and I were sitting in a meeting, you know, for the state of California about weight cuts and what to do? And it still, no matter what anyone's going to say, you can talk all you want about, you know, performance enhancing drugs. The most dangerous thing that happens in our sport is not what happens in the cage, really. It's what happens before they step in the cage, and it's their weight cut. And it's a problem. I'm going to tell you right now, you know, and I know, no matter what anyone wants to say, the reason that you know, fight didn't take place with Islam going against Arman was a weight cut. You know, that's why your back starts to have problems and things like that when you are in trouble as far as making weight and you're trying to lose weight and it's just not coming off. All these things, weight cut, there's got to be something that is done to address the weight cut problem that is part of the sport of MMA.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe it probably was the weight cut. I can't verify that or not. I don't think anyone can, but maybe Dana White can. But it sounded like his back. It is what it is.
Yeah,
he's gonna be put to the back of the line, and someone else is gonna get a shot.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. So, in terms of the weight stuff, look, I know we sat in that California Commission's meeting. Forrest Griffin was there. What was the Golden Snitch? He was there.
The
Golden Snitch.
Jeff Nowitzki.
There you go. He was there too. You know, you and I were there. You know, and
every now and then, Brendan Schaub really comes up with one that sticks. He's the one that named him the Golden Snitch.
When we sat down in that meeting, it really came down to, look, let's go ahead and let these guys make the weight. But then I guess, where do you draw the line on how much weight they can put back on? And we were talking that night about, hey, you can't exceed 10% of your weight. You can't exceed 10% of what the weight is you weighed in at, or you cannot exceed the next weight class above you, which is about that 10% until you get to like 185
to 205,
170, yeah. And then the 185 to 205. So that was kind of the conversation there. But then they went back and said, we had a conversation back and forth about, well, we don't want to have people cutting weight the day of their fight because they'll have to weigh in again before the fight. If they made the weight the day before and they put on too much weight, they may have to lose a pound or two. That's their own damn fault. That was my thought process, because look, wrestlers have to go through the same thing. Wrestlers have to, if they win the tournament matches on Saturday, they've got to make weight that night. You're normally given a pound allowance. You get that 1 pound allowance. So you've got to kind of maintain your weight throughout the day. Can't be out there just stuffing your face with pasta and putting it all in you. No, you get that 1 pound allowance that next night to move on to the next day. That's how it works. And so, I thought that this being shown, this is not abnormal though. Like Islam said in an interview, he goes, look, most of these guys, they walk around 180, 181, and then they come. He's like, he says he walks around 178, which I think this is the weight that he pretty much does now. He used to walk around a little heavier. I do know that. But you'd be surprised what happens as you're having the success and as you are constantly training because you're the champion. Your weight doesn't go up as much because you're taking it more serious. You feel this sense of responsibility to, look, this is a job. I'm actually making a ton of money. I'm successful. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my life. Not everyone does that. And I can give you, you look at guys that are tweeners, right? I mean, like Kelvin Gastelum and other fighters that they've had a hard time. Joaquin Buckley. Wasn't until they started having success that they started making it easier for themselves to make weight. They struggled at some points. Yeah. Well, it's because the success does that to you. You start to really try to tighten up your game. Like, hey, I get my body taken care of. I make sure I take care of my nutrition. You start taking it more serious. So when fighters before used to talk, like when they would struggle with weight, I was like, this fighter's not taking it serious. You can make the weight. Now, if you struggle with your weight cut, that's different, because every time the weight cut is not the same. And you know this, John. Like it could be, I could have some of the easiest weight cuts. Like towards the end of my career, my weight cuts were pretty damn easy. My Clay Guida fight was the worst weight cut I ever had in my life. It was horrid. Well, the Kid Yamamoto one was horrible too, but that's
just because that was too much weight.
That was ridiculous. In 2 weeks, I made it to 143. I was 170 at the time. It was a lot of weight at the time. The Clay Guida one, my diet was completely different. It was a lot more carbs, a lot more trying to kind of put the weight on and try to keep my weight on. So I thought, I got to eat more pancakes. I would eat more. And oh man, trying to get that weight off on fight week was miserable. Literally, I woke up the day of the weigh-ins, and that was when we did the afternoon weigh-ins. I woke up 10 pounds over.
Oh,
and I was shitting myself.
That's hard.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But look, if you don't know how to cut weight, then you shouldn't be cutting weight. Find your way to nutrition yourself down, throughout the camp, and then make the easy weight cut towards the end. Diet and nutrition is a huge part of making your weight cuts easy. Moicano's got it down. Islam has now got it down. Moicano going up to 181. That seems about like, to me, like that 76 to 80 seems normal these days.
About for a lightweight, it is.
Can you imagine this dude making 45 though?
No, that's
good God.
But but again, he showed that 45 was too much for him.
Absolutely.
His performances as a lightweight have been way better than what we saw for the most part as a featherweight, because he didn't have the gas. He didn't have the chin. It was tough, losing all that weight. So it's made a difference. Those 10 pounds make a huge difference, and you can see why, since he's going up to 181. But
absolutely. The other one was Yuri, wasn't it? Yuri was only like a couple pounds over the weight that he made, and Jamal Hill weighed more.
221.
221. So he's 208. But
221 is not bad.
No, I'm not saying it's bad, but remember we were talking about Yuri potentially going to 85, and I was like, there's no way.
Well, and people were saying, it's funny because a lot of people were like, I can't believe how big Yuri is. Yuri's fucking huge. And I'm like, he is a big guy. He's a tall guy, because I refereed him back in Japan when he fought Mo Lawal. And I was like, Mo looks small, man.
Yeah.
And he is a big guy, but obviously, he's not cutting that much weight, which is a reason why when they're talking all the time about, look at all that energy he's using, bouncing in and out and doing all those things. It's one of the reasons he can do it.
Yeah. Wasn't there somebody at 185 that weighed more than both of them?
I'm sure.
Was there somebody else on there? I felt like there was one other.
No, there's only those. Well, I've only seen those 3 fights on there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, the fact that he was only 208 kind of makes you wonder if he can make 85. I just don't think it'd be good for him.
No.
That's a big jump. That's a 20-pound jump. It's not a good one.
Huge difference.
You said at 185, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a guy at 185 that I felt like that weighed more than Jamal Hill. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I misread it. 36 to 56, 35 to 47, 35 to 48.
Those are all smaller guys right
36.
there.
Yeah.
Definitely 185-pound women.
No.
85 to 201, 85 to 203.
That's normal.
No, that's normal.
56 to 9, 56.
And Rocco would make 85 and weigh like 208 to, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
What's his face? Almeida actually went down by almost 3 pounds.
Yeah, that's what a heavyweight does.
Took a shit.
Took a shit.
35. Off the fucking.
Talbot was almost 30 pounds. I mean, 25 pounds over almost.
Jeez.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it. No one's crazy.
Nah.
Over 84 to 212.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I don't think anything was too crazy.
Okay.
Yep, that's everybody.
Got it. Okay. What else you got for us there, Dave?
So while you're on the main event, the weight and all that, talking about weights, Usman is of the opinion that Islam should go up and fight Bilal at 70.
Well, it's kind of funny, and just a little while ago when Kamaru was the pound for pound number 1 and the 170-pound champion, a lot of people were saying he needed to go up and fight a guy named Israel Adesanya, and he goes, I'm not doing that. That's my brother. Well, guess what? You got the same thing going with Makhachev and Bilal. They have trained together, and they're not going to fight each other. And so it's great that if Kamaru would, if he was Makhachev, that's what he's going to go do is go fight Bilal. But it's the same thing and the same reasons why you were not going to go fight Israel Adesanya, and I understand it. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was this mix up when I was at AKA. It was like with me, Habib. I was cornering Habib, I believe, for the Pat Healy fight. And afterwards, I think Ariel asked, like, oh, what about you guys fighting? And I'm like, there's so many things that needs to happen between now and then.
Yeah.
In this situation, right? Like Bilal's got to get past Shavkat.
Yep.
That may not happen.
No.
I believe it will happen, but it may not happen. And if it doesn't happen, if he doesn't get past Shavkat, well, then that makes it easier for Islam to make the come up.
Then Islam can make the decision to come up, and he's not fighting someone that he's trained with.
I think the bottom line is to wait until you see how the dust settles, see how this Bilal and Shavkat fight happens. And Islam's already said he wants to try to fight, International Fight Week. Ramadan, I believe, is coming up here pretty soon.
I think it's
end of February.
Yeah.
End of February, I believe. Or mid-February. So
that's both Islam and Bilal.
Yeah, Bilal's been crazy enough though. I think he fought.
He has multiple times. He's
that's
nuts.
Wild, man. That's wild. Because there's no one to train with. You got to think like the only time you can really eat or do anything is after dark.
Right.
In the evening. And then now you got to find training partners at 2 a.m. Good luck, dude.
Obviously, he's done it. So
yeah,
you got to give him credit.
So, I thought it was kind of funny, the two of them. If I was Islam Makhachev, I'm moving up. I'm whooping Bilal. I'm taking that belt. And then, Bilal, what's funny, man? I think Bilal's trash talk game is underrated. He's got some snide, good comments.
Oh, yeah.
He says, stop speaking my name until you finally end your losing streak. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this. Or you change the podcast name to Loss After Loss. Oof. Look, I'm telling you, man, both of them, they've been taking jabs at each other for a while. And it's funny because they both have the same manager. And they've done like appearances together. They've done like events together. They've been at things together, dinners or signings or whatever. So I mean, awkward. It's one of those. It's a little awkward, but hey, man, Bilal's the champ right now, and wait for the dust to settle. Hey guys, I want to say thank you to Below Me. All you guys, Below Me. Welcome to the membership crew. You guys, we offer memberships on our YouTube channel for our lives like this, so we try to get to your guys' questions first.
I hope that's BELOW.
Yeah, it's Below Me. Below Me. And then Dave Sandine, my man, I appreciate you always, man. I appreciate you guys. Obviously, Alejandro. I don't see him on here tonight. I haven't seen him just yet. But hey, I want to thank you guys for being members. You guys can sign up. We got a $4.99 membership crew, and we got a $1.99 membership crew. The $4.99, we do giveaways once a month. And I still haven't sent off December's. So I still owe those December element packages for you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to join our membership crew. What else you got for us there, Dave?
You want to keep going in the 311 Fallout, or do you want to move on?
Yeah, let's go. Henry Cejudo calls Merab. Should I say it like chill, or should I say it the way it should be?
Oh, dude. I can't even say it that bad. It's just...
So Merab Davishvili, the bantamweight GOAT, following his UFC 311 performance. You have to, man. I'm sorry, you don't. You can't do that. And I am in no way denigrating Merab at all. He is absolutely one of the best bantamweight fighters there's ever been. He's a machine right now. He's physically strong. He's got a gas tank for fucking days. I love his fucking personality. There's nothing that I can say bad about Merab, but he's had one title defense. You got to go and look at, what Dominic Cruz did. You can't sit there and take it away from Dominic like that. I'm not saying Merab can't end up being that guy. He definitely can, but you can't sit there and just,
Part of the argument is that he's beat a lot of these guys in their prime, even though they're not. He wasn't champion at the time.
Yeah, he has, but a lot of those are close fights in 3 rounds too. And I'm not saying that the 5-round doesn't absolutely benefit Merab. I think it does, but you can't sit there and say those fights are the same as championship fights. They're not. and you got to give it. Dominic Cruz was a guy that, came from the WEC when they absorbed it into the UFC. He was the title holder there at the time. He continued winning it. He ended up getting hurt. He goes away. They give the title out to him. He gets it back. I mean, the guy has had a run that was super impressive. And right now, you can't just take it from him. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that, he could beat Merab now. He can't. I don't think. But when he was at his best, he was awfully fucking good.
There is just no disrespect to Merab whatsoever. I've been giving him a lot of credit on this show today. The bottom line is that Dominic Cruz did what he did, coming off of injury after injury, came back from a 3-year-long layoff.
Yep.
Trying to deal with his knee pain. And
3 years of his career gone.
3 of his prime career, comes back, wins his title back pretty easily, and still ends up being the champ for a while. Like, I'm sorry. He's definitely the GOAT at that. And he was doing it for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, do we remember how Renan Barão, right, was very dominant during that 3 years that he was away? The Dom was away.
Yeah.
And then TJ Dillashaw comes in and beats him. And Dom comes back after the long layoff and beats TJ.
Yep.
I mean, why have to talk about Renan Barão being the guy when I beat the guy who beat the guy? You know what I mean? I know MMA math doesn't add up, and maybe it would have been a different story. But what we saw was a very clear-cut win and dominant performance by Dominic Cruz over TJ Dillashaw. Yeah. And Dom has been doing it for a long time, man. And I'm glad that he's wrapping up his career the way he's wrapping it up here coming shortly. But it's exciting to see that. Like, I can't think of another person. There's nobody else at 135 pounds that deserves it more than him. No, and I do agree with you. Final round fights and always having to put your title on the line makes a huge difference every time you step in there.
Yeah, I understand what Henry is saying. And if you look at, from a certain point, and I'll even say it was from starting like with the John Dodson fight, that run that Merab has had, it's impressive. It is super impressive because, all wins. But again, the problem, if you're going to look at it too, not a lot of finishes, a lot of decisions. And so that kind of goes against it. But, you've got the Marlon Moraes was one that he did win by. We talked about this on the last show. He won that one. He stopped him with punches and that. But, I understand Henry's whole take of, well, look at who he's fought. Yes, he's done a fantastic job. He just needs to get more wins as a champion. And now you can put him in that status.
Yeah. I mean, John, let me do this real quick. Look, I'm looking at Dominic Cruz. You've got his loss to Uriah Faber, and then after that, he goes on
that was in the WEC. Yeah,
that was in the WEC. I get it. Yeah. Okay. He fought Charlie Valencia. He fought Ian McCall.
Charlie was a tough bastard too.
Super tough. You guys don't remember him,
people don't give him credit, man. Charlie Valencia could wrestle his ass off and was just a tough. As Mike Beltran would say, I can't say it. I'll be in trouble.
He fought Joe Benavidez, Brian Bowles. Okay. And then he fought Joseph Benavidez again.
Now, Brian Bowles was knocking everybody out, if you remember at the time.
Yep.
Heavy-handed 135er.
Scott Jorgensen. And then he beat Uriah Faber when they fight again. Then Demetrius Johnson, he beats.
Yep.
Mizugaki, he beats. TJ Dillashaw, he beats. Uriah Faber, he beats. Then he loses to Cody. And then he loses to Henry. Then he comes back and beats Casey Kenny. Beats Pedro Munoz. Then he just lost to Marlon Vera. Yeah. The guy's had a great long career. He fought these guys in their prime. A lot of that time he was coming back off of injuries or always having to deal with an injury and still had success. Look, you guys can feel however you want about him, but to me right now, it's going to be Dominic Cruz at 135 pounds. Not saying that Merab can't catch him.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying that at all, but I do agree with John. Having to always fight the number one guy when you're the champion for that long is very difficult. Extremely difficult. I mean, like having to get motivated. We saw with John Jones. John's been winning in the early when he was defending his title, starching dudes. Then all of a sudden you could tell almost like got bored. All right. And then it was like all of them were decisions. Started just decisioning everyone. Yeah. Making it look easy, but still decisioning it. And it just Dom was the guy that just constantly was putting in the work. Look, he's got, he's just a guy that constantly was getting better and was always grinding and putting people to work. And his style was so difficult to deal with. Extremely style. No different than Merab. Merab's very difficult in his style.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for people to beat him. So however long he decides to fight. But, man, I'm looking forward to seeing Merab, and I'm sure we'll see Merab and Umar too if Merab keeps the title.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Chat says 63% yes, Merab is the bantamweight GOAT, and currently 67% Merab over Dominic Cruz is the GOAT. So just letting you know.
Yeah, fucking casuals.
You can let me know, but you weren't there to watch Dominic at those times.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when he lost, you brought up the loss to Uriah. I'd seen him the first time I'd seen him fight was the fight before that. He fought Chad Smith, and I was like, dude, this dude is fucking all over the place, man. And he's just but he was undefeated at the time. He got that loss to Uriah, and then, man, the performances that he had, because people don't remember who Brian Bowles is, and the fact that Demetrius is considered what, and Dominic handled Demetrius. Let's be honest, that fight wasn't close, and he's just he is very. The biggest problem with him, he was brittle. Yeah, he had these injury problems. The knees went.
I can tell you why he was brittle. Did you ever go to the Alliance Training Center?
Yeah, well, when you're puzzle mat
on those stupid puzzle mats, these little inch thick puzzle mats. I went there to go train one time. I was like, I am not fucking grappling on this. Who the fuck is grappling on this?
They do.
Dude, my life would have been, my career would have lasted fucking 2-3 years, if that.
Yeah.
Like I'd have been like 18, 19, 20 years old. It was miserable, John. Anytime I would grapple, I'd grab like Phil Davis or Jeremy Stevens or whoever to grapple. I'd say, let's go on they had a little jiu-jitsu area. It was like in a cage area there, and it had bags. I'd say, let's go grapple on those mats. There was no way I was grappling on those fucking puzzle mats. You're out of your damn mind. I was like, man, no wonder he's fucking always hurt. Jeez. In the Granite 617. Hey, man, I appreciate you being a member. Thanks. If you guys can, go ahead and look to sign up for our memberships. $4.99 for the to be part of giveaways, and then the $1.99 so we can get your questions answered as fast as possible. Also, too, Drink Element, link down below in the descriptions. For every purchase there, they give you a bonus package. John, you know what's funny? I know you drink it, but
all the time.
Tell me the reasons why you drink it.
First off, I'm being honest. When I first started drinking Element, I had to get used to it. It was a little salty for me because I'm one of those kind of sugaraholics when it comes to, I'd rather have it sweet than salty. And then the longer I drank it, the more I just enjoyed the taste of it and stuff. Because, I was a Monster freak and I would drink Monsters all the time. The white Monsters, which are kind of sweet. But I feel great every time. If I drink Monsters, it's not that I feel bad. It's just just different, and I have to piss all the time with Monsters.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching Joe Rogan said the same thing. Fuck, I drink Monsters. I'm a fucking pissing machine.
Dude, that's it. And these I don't. I mean, it's, I feel good with them. I love the taste now. And especially the black cherry lime I love.
I like the watermelon and the black cherry lime.
This is my white Monster now.
Yeah.
This is what I drink more than anything.
My go-to on it is that, like, in the mornings, I'll drink a half a can. Kind of gives me a little pep in my step when I'm getting ready to work out.
A little pep in your what?
In my step. Pep in my step. And then right after I get a workout in, I'll put the other half of the can, in me. That didn't sound good. I'll do that, and then I'll drink.
I've got a vision that I cannot unsee.
Unsee it, buddy. You can't unsee it. You sleep well tonight.
Josh had one too many oil checks back in the day.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I've seen things in my life that are very similar, and now you just brought them all right back. Oh God.
Yeah, and then I'll do a half a can, while we're filming or at night before bed.
Josh, you're never escaping that one. I hope you know that.
That's great.
You're never escaping that one.
I'm never gonna escape that one.
No. That was here to stay.
Like one of those ones that sticks around, like the golden snitch. Oh shit.
You can try to
I've
evade it.
noticed it helps me sleep a little bit more. That magnesium, that it has 200 milligrams of potassium, 600 milligrams of magnesium, definitely kicks my ass and helps me sleep at night. So it's I've noticed the benefits for me across the board in terms of being able to get some good sleep, as well as helps me recover after a hard workout in the morning. So if you guys can, man, support our sponsors and click that link down below. They'll send you a bonus package with every purchase. So that's our VIP status from us to you guys. Thank you guys so much. Also, too, head on over to OnlyFans and subscribe to us over there. It is free. And this show is brought to you by BetUS. This show is brought to you by BetUS. Promo code is YouTube150. Give you 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. And overall, last week on the pay-per-view, I did okay. I had Umar winning. I thought he was going to win a decision. Didn't go my way. I had Islam winning by submission. Didn't matter if it was against Sarukian or Moicano. I still picked him to win by submission. I figured the Darce would be there, the guillotine would be there, the Reneke would be there. So, or Kimura, something along those lines, side joke, whatever it was. So, Machado, what do you got for us there, Dave? Machado, member.
Machado asks, John, did refs have to go through drug tests like fighters? I was watching some old fights and some refs looked saucy.
Saucy? Well, I can tell you there are some refs that are saucy. I'm being honest. I think I am the only referee I knew that got tested. And I know that sounds weird, but back a long time ago when the UFC finally was legalized in the state of Nevada, Mark Ratner tested me. He goes, "Hey," he says, "I'm gonna have to test you." I said, "Go ahead. I don't give a fuck. I don't take anything." I said, "If it's gonna test me for beer or asthma medication, we're in trouble." Other than that, I said, "We're good." He goes, "No, we're good." I said, "Okay." And so I know the other guys knew that I got tested. I don't think any of them got tested, but they were, there was a couple of them that were like, they were worried about marijuana. It was something I wasn't worried about because I don't take it. But
should they be tested?
Yes, I do think they should.
Like once a month thing, or
no. I don't think. I'm not going to say once a month, but I would say randomly. I would say if you get tested by a state, and this is where I say it's weird because the referees are not just working in Nevada, they're working all over. Yeah. And so, if it's one of those ones where it's not blood and it's just piss, go ahead, test them. Big deal. I think they should because, hey, if the fighters have to be clean, you should have to be clean too.
Interesting.
And I'm not talking about performance enhancing drugs. That's, I can give a shit, but they should be tested for things that are, opiates, like narcotics.
Opiates,
absolutely.
Meth, things like that. Yeah. Interesting. I would imagine if you have the main event, they should probably test the main event.
Yeah.
Referee.
Yeah. Well, look at it. You're going to test one, test them all.
Oof, that's expensive.
Well, and that's why they don't do it. Mark Ratner at the time said, "Yep, I'll do it," but that was it. That's the only one I know of.
What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, let's look at the fight announcement from this weekend. We had Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev announced for March 8th, UFC 313.
Okay. In Las Vegas?
Yep.
In Las Vegas, March 8th.
T-Mobile?
Yep.
Okay. What's the rest of the card? Do we know?
No. Well, we know one more fight. We know that Gaethje is going to fight Dan Hooker in that card as well.
Okay, great.
Which is a great fight.
It's a 5-rounder as well.
That's a slobber knocker.
Yeah. That's
going to be a good one. Okay, so Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. John, give me your take on this, because look, Ankalaev has been talking mad trash, which is crazy to me that he's been on social media basically saying like, hey, you're not, I'm going to stand with you. I'm going to knock you out. I don't need to wrestle. You've been pretty much ducking me. Like, it basically said, hey, do as you're told, sign the contract.
Ooh, I know. I saw that one.
Alex had said something a while back. Like, look, I just fight whoever they put in front of me and just do as I'm told. And so he's like, hey, so do as you're told, and sign the contract. So he signed, like the fight's on. Let's go.
Is the fight on? Yes, it is. Finally. And I'm being honest, it's not one of those fights that I go, man, I've been waiting for that fight. And
whose fault is that?
It's Ankalaev's fault.
Yeah.
Okay. and when I say that, I say it with, I have such high expectations for that guy because I know how good he really is and can be. And then he doesn't do the things that I know he's capable of in the fight to make it to where, dude, you can dominate this person. But no, you're playing his game. And I honestly think he is going to play the game with, Pereira, as far as he will try to just stand up with him for a lot of it. Now, I do think he will try to take him down, but it all comes down to this. Every month that goes by, Josh, I know you give me the same line of, you can't teach a grown man to wrestle. Yeah, you really can, especially defensively. Okay, now they're not going to, how good of a wrestler was Umar when you first, met him?
Oh, you're talking about 19 versus.
I know that. I'm not saying that. It's different between a grown man,
apples, buddy.
Okay?
Not apples to oranges.
No, that's apples to oranges. But the point is, look at his wrestling and look at what he can do as a wrestling. I'm not saying that Alex is close to that, but Alex has had enough time now, and he's been working on his wrestling, especially the defensive part. He's not going to be easy to take down. He is a big, strong man. He's a large human being. He's good at, he keeps his hands down anyways. He's kind of like the year. He's got his hands down low all the time, which makes it more difficult to get the takedown just off the bat. Fedor used to do it the same way, because if his hands are low, it's easy for him to scoop you up, stop the takedown attempt. And Ankalaev, in the end, he's going to have to work harder for those takedowns. And I don't think in the end he's going to work that hard for him. He'll separate and think that he can do it on his feet, and that's going to be his undoing.
I go back and look at the Jan Blachowicz fight with Ankalaev. Mm-hmm. He didn't look great against an older guy. Jan was 39 at the time, or maybe even 40 at the time.
Yeah, close.
I'm sorry. Sure, you can touch Alex. He is kind of hittable.
Oh, yeah, he's very hittable.
Slightly right outside of range. He's hittable, but not to the full impact. And that's what the difference is. Boxing and kickboxing, but mainly boxing, is considered what? The art of inches, right?
The art of hitting without getting hit.
Exactly. But you can still get hit, but just grazed. It just barely slightly touches you, gets you slightly out of the ring.
Anything that doesn't hit you with power.
Yeah.
You're good.
He's that guy. He slightly moves his body back. He's so big too. I mean, they're going to be about equal size. I think Alex can be slightly thicker, maybe even a little bit taller.
Alex will be taller.
Yeah, a little bit taller. And so I look at this, I'm like, Ankalaev cannot afford to spend too. I think he'll stand, but he's either got to be all the way in, closing that distance, make it a clinch fight, or he's got to be all the way out. Try. But if you're all the way out, we saw what happened with the Jan Blachowicz fight, where he got kicked to the shins and all of a sudden he couldn't walk. Yeah. And he was winning that fight, I believe, until the end of the second round. Then he couldn't walk anymore. Do you think that Jan's kicks are going to be as good as Alex's? There you go. So, I mean, that was the inside calf. They actually hit to the inside calf as well as the shin. He couldn't put weight on it. He was struggling. I mean, a couple kicks, and we're going to see what happens in this fight. We're going to see if Ankalaev can take those shots, those leg kicks, because every fighter thinks they have a plan when they go in there. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. 3 kicks later, the game plan's different.
Yeah, and if this is where, okay, I mean, how do you put? I want you to think about this with, Alex Pereira. He comes into the UFC. Yeah, I think his first fight was against Mitchell Ladius. I think if I'm saying it right. Mm-hmm. And then he fought Bruno Silva, that's a stand-up fight. But from there, Sean Strickland, former champion, now fighting again for the championship, fought Israel Adesanya twice, lost one of them, lost the second one, when he won the title. Then he had, Jan Blachowicz, Yuri, Jamal, Yuri again, and then Khalil. He's fought some really tough individuals in that time. It's not like he's fought trash. He's fought some great fights. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Ankalaev. He's fought good competition, but truthfully, not as good a competition as Pereira has. I know he fought, Thiago Santos somewhere along the way. I can't remember how long ago it was, but somewhere. I know he fought Anthony Smith. He fought, as you said, Jan, for the championship and it became a draw. You know, fought Johnny Walker twice because I think one was an eye poke or something like that. Or,
Illegal knee.
Yeah, illegal knee. That's right. And, you know, he looked good against Rakic. I'll give him that. He won a decision, but he looked good against him. But still, he just hasn't been that guy you've gone, wow.
Yeah.
And I think you have at times looked at Alex and gone, wow. I just think that the way that Ankalaev is going to end up fighting this, and just like you said, that low calf kick is going to be a problem for him because he's got a wide base. He gets that leg out there, and that means he's going to have to switch stances, which is going to give him problems. And it's not an easy fight for either guy, but it's not this, Ankalaev is just going to walk through Alex Pereira. Not happening.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. I think he's gonna have a little bit tougher time to get him down if he decides to take him down. He may get him down off of a lazy kick.
Yep.
But I think also too the wrestling will be a lot harder as Alex starts to make contact on those calf kicks. Yeah. And they're gonna come and they come so effortlessly. So there's no setup. It's just like
that's the whole thing.
We just touch.
There's no tell on him either. They just because he doesn't try to stick his leg and put it through yours. He just wants to touch it, and the way he does it, it's heavy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at some of the fights that are on here. It doesn't look like they have anything else outside of the Dan Hooker. They've got Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. They've got Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van, Petrino versus Deniz, Bruno Ferreira versus
Silva against Van is a good fight.
Yeah, that should be good.
That's a good fight.
And then
is that at 125 or 135?
125.
Okay.
I was also looking at the Petrosian versus Ferreira. That should be good. Bruno Ferreira. Yeah. That should be a good fight as well. Chris Gutierrez versus Matsumoto. It should be a decent fight right there. Alex Morano versus Lee Morando. Those are just the fights they have listed right now. That's only, I don't know how many that is. That's 10 fights. So they'll probably come up with another 2 or 3. Yeah. I think that's only a 10 fight card right now. Overall, though, I think I'm looking forward to that fight. Let's talk about this Dan Hooker and Justin Gaethje fight, though, John.
Dan Hooker is a guy, man. He's tough as hell. I just don't like the stylistic matchup for him in this fight. Mm-hmm. Justin is, Justin does a lot of things that he's a rhythm fighter, and he's got certain things that he goes to all the time. As far as, when he does a low leg kick and then he'll sit there and throw their overhand right to the hook. He just does these things over and over and over. But when he hits him, everyone you can see goes, ooh, that has an impact. Dan Hooker is long, he's lanky, but he's going to be in a stand-up fight here. He's not going to try to take Justin down. That's not who he is. And they're going to just sling leather until one of them goes to sleep. And I'm being honest right now, I still look at Justin Gaethje as just the better overall stand-up fighter. But it should be a great matchup.
Yeah, I think the people who win in this one is the fans.
Oh, fuck yeah.
This is one of those fights where
neither of these guys win because they're both going to take some fucking licks.
Both these guys are killers. Dan Hooker is a savage, and this whole second run comeback after the COVID situation and coming basically just getting himself back on track. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember. He spent 50-something days in solitary confinement. 56 days because
away from his family to fight.
And then basically he gets out 2 weeks later, takes another fight. So he gets back into training camp. Then he comes back out and fights.
No one said he was intelligent.
Hey, look, as a fighter, you got to make as much money as you possibly can.
That's right.
You can't make any money if you're not inside that cage.
This is true.
But I think this is going to be a barn burner. I think this is one of those fights that's going to live up to the hype. Someone's getting knocked out.
Yep.
Somebody's getting knocked out.
And it could be either one of them.
It could be either one. And my biggest thing is, what Gaethje are we going to get after his last fight?
Well, again, if there's one thing that I give Gaethje credit for, he understands, hey, I need time off. He takes the time off. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do a whole lot to, get himself where he's getting touched. And so he's very smart as far as taking care of himself after the wars that he's had. That last one against Max it's one of those car crashes that it's going to leave a dent in your car for a long time, though. It's not going to go away. But yeah, I agree with you.
Dave, you got any questions for us there? I see Lazy Bird and I see Shiz Akhmedov.
Cody White. Well, John, we might as well fire Herb Dean. Then that dude's high as hell all the time.
Man, it doesn't help that Herb's name is Herb.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's got the braids, the hairstyle and stuff. It's like, man, you're just asking people to say that you're fucking Rastafarian, Bob Marley smoking mother, man. He can't get past it.
Cody, if you've ever talked to him, it's like it really is like talking to someone who's high. He's very soft spoken.
Yep.
He speaks slow, like he just has a conversation with you. He's nothing like the way that John and I talk.
Yeah.
We're animated and we're very, sometimes loud, I guess you could say. This guy is not that.
No, but quiet, I will say this, Herb's very analytical in everything, in the way he looks at everything. And he's, but
he doesn't look that way at fucking fence grabs. I can tell you that.
And he'll always go, think about this, and he'll give you a scenario with it, right? And you go, why are you trying to be so damn analytical? Well, you got to think about this, Herb's a great guy. Does he smoke marijuana? I'm sure he has. I've never smoked with him, so I can't say that. I've never seen him smoke, so I can't say that. But I don't think he is the Lodi that you guys are trying to make him out to be.
You're making him out to be.
Yeah.
Lazy Bed, what do you got for us there, Dave?
Did either of you catch the GFL town hall? I went in skeptical and came out wishing them success. What one piece of advice would you give them? Cheers.
Look, if you're a fan of MMA at all, you should be wishing them success. Doesn't matter like what their game plan is and what they're going to do. Everyone should be wishing them success. If you want to see development of younger fighters getting opportunities to fight on other cards so they could potentially one day get into the UFC, you should be wishing any promotion that starts right now success. These guys, all these fighters that sure they maybe have left and now they're older and they're signed with the GFL. I wish them all success. I want this promotion to be successful because let's just be honest. This is what Scott Coker used to do. And he would sign a couple fighters that were older, and then he would sign young and up and coming talent in the local area of wherever he had his show, so he could build them up to get them to sell local tickets. And then as that time went on and he would get those fighters to be built up, then he would the fighters that were older would make their way out. Yeah. They would retire or they just move on or whatever it was. And then now you've got a star or somebody that can be built up underneath those bigger guys. So the big name guys would fight main event, co-main event. And all of a sudden you say, who's this guy? Why is this guy fighting as the fight right before the co-main event? I've never heard of this guy. And the kid would come out and just guns blazing, have a fantastic fight. The Cerronio kid from California.
Bobby Cerronio?
Man, Bobby Cerronio, he's a stud.
Nice.
Super fun fighter to watch. I believe he's still undefeated. He's a great fighter to watch, man. Fantastic. He's one of those guys. We put him on the main card underneath some of the other fighters that have bigger names, and he's got a pretty big following. Anytime you fight him in San Jose, even though because he's from the Bay Area, that kid's selling, a couple hundred tickets, 300-400 tickets. That's a lot. That's a lot of tickets to be sold right there. Yep. He gets a percentage of those tickets, and he guarantees that his fans come to support. That's what you want. That's what you want to do to bring out the fans. So that's, I think, what these other promotions, that's what they're working on. You sign the older guys, get the name value, sign in a couple of young guys, you can build underneath them.
Yeah, the GFL is not signing, a lot of the names that they're signing, expecting them to have, careers in the GFL. They're trying to use those names to get people's attention. That's okay. You can do that. It's a matter of, just like you said, people need to stop, putting down promotions. They're trying to come up with something. Right now, you don't know exactly what the GFL is truly going to be like. They've come up with, they're going to have teams. Has it been done? It's been done. They're trying to, say that they're having different weight classes because that's going to help with the weight cut. That part I'm looking going, I don't see it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not hoping that they are successful, because fighters need a place to go. The UFC only has so many slots on their roster. You got to, everyone thinks, then just let the UFC sign them. It doesn't work that way. They have to offer 3 fights to every fighter. Now, every fighter is not going to accept all 3 of those fights, which helps the UFC because then they just got rid of one without having to put them on a card. But they have to offer those 3 fights to, if they have 650 or 700 fighters on the roster, they have to offer every one of those 700 fighters at least 3 fights, or they have to pay them for a fight that they never got.
Yeah.
So,
which that never happens because the fighter doesn't want to lose their relationship with the UFC.
Sure.
You want to keep their relationship, continue, and just maybe re-sign for a longer contract to guarantee themselves more fights.
Yep.
But to answer your question there, Lazy Bed, no, I did not catch the GFL town hall. I'm assuming it was on YouTube. I do believe they have their draft coming this weekend, and that should be available. I haven't heard where, but I'm thinking it's going to be YouTube, and I've also heard some rumblings that maybe DAZN. And so if that works out, I want them to have nothing but success. If they have their draft, I saw that their locations, like, Cain Velasquez, Javier, are going to be in Dubai. Other fighters are going to be.
I love that one.
One in Florida. There's one in New York. There's one, so it's good. I'm happy for them. I think it's going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing is laid out. Like, are they going to have the fighters over there training? Or are they just going to have them here in the States saying that they're there training, and then just bring them and say, hey, this is representing this area? Are they bringing, like, you have Gegard Mousasi, you've got Anthony Pettis. Where are they going to train if they're drafted? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to, that's the other thing. Are you going to allow these? Let's go back to the Ultimate Fighter. They all train in Vegas together. But then after, like, if you made the main card afterwards, if you made the one that got into the finals, you went back to your teams. You went back to your real training team, and you trained with them, and you came back. I feel like if you're going to do this, you have to allow those fighters to go train with their normal team before they fight. And you bring them in the last week or two, and you have them train with Cain and Javier for 2 weeks. And then you get them ready. You get photo ops and get the footage you need for TV to make it look like real TV or good TV. And you have a product there you can sell. I think that's what you can do. Who knows? What else you got for us, Dave?
All right. Shiz Akhmedov asks, let's keep the mutual respect going. Josh, disagree about Islam being better grappler than the GOAT of UFC, Khabib. Wow, that's like hard to read. Disagree about Islam being better grappler than the GOAT. It's supposed to be than the GOAT of UFC.
So he
Khabib.
disagrees with Josh, saying that he believes Khabib is the better grappler than Islam.
Islam, good striker, but Khabib has the best ground control and ground and pound. Volkanovski will not escape.
What I mean by grapplers, you're thinking control and top position. I'm talking about the actual overall grappler. How many submissions does Khabib have? How many submissions does Islam have? One guy is just a more in terms of submission type grappler. And that's what Islam is. The other one is more of control, damage, ground and pound,
beat down,
fucking beat your head in,
smash.
Smash your boy. And so that they're just different. Shiz Akhmedov, I appreciate the super chat. And but no, I look at it as Islam is, to me, the better grappler in terms of attacking submissions and the way he baits you into moving one way so he could take your neck or take your arm or do, whereas Khabib just locked you down. There was no baiting you. It was like, no, I'm going to take this position and you're going to be stuck here. And if I want to ass rape you, I'm going to do that. And there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to actually talk to Dana White while I'm doing it. He just did it. Anything he wanted to do, he would do. Like John had said multiple times, because you've been in the cage with him.
Multiple
He's the
times.
most dominant fighter you've ever been in the cage with.
No doubt. Yeah,
it's hard to argue that point. He's only lost, 1 or 2 rounds in his whole career?
Yeah.
The 3rd round against Connor. And someone told me
that was a takeoff round, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can tell when someone is taking the round off. He took the round off. It's okay.
And then someone said he lost a round against Gleason Tebow, but I actually went back and the scorecards were 30-27.
Yeah. I
was like,
that's an opinion. No, that's an opinion. I think on the actual scorecards, he did lose the round to Connor.
Yeah.
In the 3rd. I think he lost, I want to say,
the 1st round against Justin Gaethje. Did he lose that round? trying to remember.
He did not on every card though.
Got it.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at it. But
Do you know which pay-per-view it was?
That one? Jesus, that was during
Gaethje and who?
Gaethje and Khabib. I think there was 2 judges that went with. If you go to MMA decisions and look up Sal D'Amato, because I think he was one of the, and you can go to that fight. I think 2 of the judges went with Justin and 1 went with Khabib.
Well, okay,
but they might not have that card out there because the fight was a finish.
Yeah, let's we can't search either. Let me just UFC 254. What was the date on that? Let's see. It was October 2020. So October 2020. UFC 254. There it is. I only have 3 on MMA decisions. There's only 3, but
yeah, that's because they just put the ones that actually went to a decision, so they didn't put the scorecards in there. But as I recall, I believe it was 2-1. So you could say that was a round that he lost on the judges' scorecards because,
well, Ankalaev, I mean, look, Islam to me is a better jiu-jitsu / grappler for the sport of MMA, whereas Khabib was just a different control, dominant top position, ground and pound. And like John said, he's never seen a more dominant fighter inside that cage. That says a lot. John, you've been in there with GSP, John Jones, Cain Velasquez. I mean, all of them, everyone,
all of them,
every single one. I mean, all of them.
Yep.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of fights. Do you think you had 100,000 yet?
Was that?
You think you've hit 100,000 fights?
That I've seen or refereed?
Refereed.
Oh God, no,
for sure.
100,000. My God, no, not even close.
You haven't hit 100,000 refereeing?
God, no. You realize how many fights that is?
100,000.
No, fucking walked into that.
Do you realize how? Do you realize how many shows you would have to have done?
Just like
do 100,000 for how long? I'm just guessing, Dave. You're gonna have to do math on this.
Okay, let's see. I got you.
But if you took 100, you got to figure. Let's say that every show you did 5 fights, because it's not like the old days where
20,000 shows.
Okay, 20,000 shows, right? Okay, so figure out that how many shows are there that you can do in a year.
Well, you normally do 2 shows.
I was doing about 120 shows a year. Okay. So that's over 2 a week.
So
okay. So 120 shows a year into that. How many years would that be? How many years would that be?
1993.
I would say overall I did a little over about 10,000 fights.
How many?
10,000 fights.
Oh, Dave, how many did you say?
166 years.
166 years. Thank you. That's the whole point.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, look at it. I love when people come up with these outlandish and
get to work, John.
I've had referees tell me I've done 15,000 fights, and I go, there's no fucking way. Okay, if I haven't done it, I guarantee I know you haven't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's
crazy.
There's
some weeks though that you had like a Wednesday night card or a Tuesday.
Oh no, look, there were nights I would do an Ultimate Fighter on Tuesday. Yeah. I would do a show on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So 4 shows for the week.
Jeez.
Yeah, did it all the time, and it was.
So how'd you only get 120 fights then? That's 5 shows right there. That's 4 shows.
4 shows right there, but
only fights.
Okay,
20 fights.
And okay, hold on. You got to be honest about things. So some of those I had weeks that were like that. And then I had shows that I had, ones where I had 2 shows a week. Okay. And then there you get, Thanksgiving, there's 0.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't get any near it. And Christmas, there's 0. New Year's, there is. So it just depends on when you're at.
John, were you the guy that if you had a big pay-per-view fight coming up on the weekend, you wouldn't book anything else? Do you felt like you had to rest up?
No.
No, that wasn't you. You didn't you didn't have to stretch the day or 2 before. Did you ever cut weight for fights you were gonna rep?
No.
I just gotta know. I gotta know, man. I see Jason Herzog and
I see the dude. I make fun of guys. They're stretching, they're doing all kinds of shit.
They do their workouts in the morning, it's their footwork and all that shit, inside the cage.
Yeah.
I see them. They're fucking wild, man.
Yeah, that's it.
They take it very serious. I love it.
John, there's two types of math you don't trust: MMA math and Josh Thompson math.
No, it's funny. I had one simple rule, and it came about, because obviously my career changed, as time went on. But when I wasn't owned by people and I was just doing my own thing, my whole thing was, no matter what show it was, if I took a show, didn't matter how big or how small it was, if another big show came and asked me, hey, can you work this? And I'd already had a book. I never dismissed the small show to take the big show. I would always say, no, I'm booked.
You know what I love? That's a Rogan approach too. He's like, look, if I've already booked a show and basically something else comes up, he's like, I never cancel.
No, never.
He's like, I've only canceled like 1 or 2 shows in my whole career.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I've made sure that if I told someone I was going to be there, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
That's fucking awesome.
You gave your word.
A lot of people get their big britches up there, right? And they're like, oh no, I'm the man. I can do this. I can do that. That's why when I look back at like things that happened with Habib on the plane, and he never once did he say, you know who I am?
No, he didn't.
It's important.
He should have. No, just kidding.
Say, you want me here.
Yeah, exactly.
John, there was something.
Yeah, on you go. No, I was gonna say we got some fights to hit. So if you want to hit this real quick,
yeah, we do.
What do you want to hit? Oh, hey, Bet US. Hey, this show is brought to you by Bet US. I've talked about this already. I said this already. YouTube 150, baby. YouTube 150 is the promo code. Bet US YouTube 150. But before we talk about this, I know we have fights to hit. A real quick thing I want to talk to you about, John. Ages of the top lightweight division. Islam is 33. Arman Sarukian's 28. Charles Oliveira, 35. Justin Gaethje, 36. Dustin Poirier, 35. Max Holloway, 33. Dan Hooker, 34. Michael Chandler, 38. Gamrot, 34. Dariush, 35. Moicano, 35. That is your top 9-10 fighters right there, all in their kind of towards the end of their prime.
Yeah,
is where you're at, 34, 35. Arman is the last one standing. I'm going to even go a little bit further than that. You've got Fiziev, Patty Pimblett, who's young, Jalen Turner, who's older, Benoit Saint Denis. I don't know how old he is. Grant Dawson seems like he's a little bit younger. That's it. Is that that's not a good thing. That's
what do you mean it's not a good thing? It's a normal thing.
No, I understand it's a normal thing, but like I've seen fighters, these guys have been at the top for so long. If you look at that top position, outside of Arman, Charles, Justin, Dustin, and those 3 guys, they've been at the top for 4 or 5 years now, John.
Yeah.
Like literally their whole prime, they haven't moved from like 1, 2, 3, 4. They just have shuffled over each other and then dropped down and then shuffled back over each other and dropped down. They haven't moved from that position in probably, I'd say, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID. Holy shit.
Yeah.
These guys. Oh man, I can't say enough how much I love having them in the sport. It's going to be sad to see them go. I'm not saying they're leaving now, guys. Calm down, okay? Just simply put, that it's going to be sad to see Justin Gaethje go. It's going to be sad to see Dustin Poirier go.
Oh my God.
And Charles Oliveira. It's going to be sad because those guys, fuck man, they've had some of the greatest fights. Some of the great Max Holloway, some of the greatest fights ever. Just so fun.
See, and that's, you look and you try to tell people about someone like a Dustin Poirier, and they go, oh, he was never, the real champion and stuff. And you go, have you ever just looked at who he has fought in his career? It's remarkable. The level of competition that fight in, fight out, year in, year out, the people that he has taken on, it's just unbelievable. There came a point somewhere around, when he fought Eddie Alvarez and he had there was a no contest because of a knee, and then he came back and fought him again. He fought everybody, Anthony Pettis, he fought Gaethje, and and then he came back and he beat Alvarez, and then he had the fucking the interim title I know he had with Max Holloway, and he got that, and then he had to fight Habib. How lucky can you be? But he had the fights with McGregor, and the Dan Hooker fight was fucking just fire. That was during COVID. And you just look and you go, this guy has fought unbelievable competition every time he steps into the cage, it seems like. Never back down from anyone. And supposedly his next fight in Miami is going to be his last.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, good for him, man. Look, he's had a great career. All of them. All of those top 4 guys have all had great careers.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. We're going to see a changing of the guard in the lightweight division. I just hope that it ends up being, because the lightweight division has always been, once it made its comeback, it's always been one of those divisions that I felt like has been the best and the greatest of all of the whole sport. It's been carrying the UFC on its back forever. So
after they tried to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, you think about it, and they did for a while, and it was at a time that, they were having problems. But I mean, you look at that division and what it has been, from a certain point, it's been the killer's row of guys in that. And that's what you're talking about with all these guys have been around for quite a while, and they're still in that prime at 34, 35. They're still there.
Think about a lot of those guys in the beginning of the lightweight division. They're still around, lingering in the sport a little bit. Dean Thomas, BJ Penn, like you just have guys that like, I follow Carl Uno. I love watching, like they're so cryptic with his Instagram posts, but you've had those guys, Matt Serra, like there's just so many guys that you just still see them kind of still actively a little bit in the sport. I like seeing that. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the UFC fight night card coming up this weekend. You got Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov.
No,
no. That's a week away, dude.
Yeah, that's why I changed the stuff I sent you.
There's nothing. We have the only thing that's up this weekend is the PF.
Thompson.
I want to say it's the PFL Championship Series.
There you
go.
Which
used to be Bellator. Bellator's gone, so now it's all about the PFL Championship Series or Champions Series.
Okay. All right. Talk to me, Goose. Tell me.
Well, this is the road to Dubai. This is going to be in Dubai, and it's the main event is a fantastic fight. It is the brother of Umar, Usman Nurmagomedov, who was I don't know what they're going to make him, but was the champion of Bellator in the lightweight division, taking on Paul Hughes, who just had a fantastic performance against AJ McKee. He looked great in it. He won it by split decision, but it should have been a unanimous decision. He won the fight. But he's looked really good, and he's going up. Usman is 18-0, just like his brother was. And Paul Hughes is 13-1. So two of the outstanding lightweights that are not in the UFC. That's what I said, didn't I?
Sorry, I sounded like 18-1.
Oh no, 13-1. But it's a great matchup because it's going to be a stand-up fight for the most part, you would think. Usman is a fantastic stand-up fighter. They call him Sir Kicks a lot because he's got fantastic kicks and man, he utilizes them well. He's really gotten to the point where his fight against Shabli was his last fight, and that was a fight that if you were going to say someone that I looked at that had the skill set to possibly beat him, it would be Shabli. And he honestly dismantled Shabli in that fight. He really just showed how good he is. Paul Hughes is a tough kid, man. He's got power in his hands. The kid can wrestle. I don't think he can out-wrestle Usman. I don't think he can outstrike Usman. I'm just being honest. I look at it as it's a tough fight as far as Hughes is a tough individual who will continue to come forward until you make him stop. And that's what Usman's going to have to do.
Something about Hughes in his last fight with AJ McKee, man, he sold me. He sold me in terms of his ability to make someone miss, stay right outside of range, and then touch you with the great boxing that he has. He's got good kicks as well. He's got that kind of trunky type body. You understand what I'm saying? He's just kind of shorter. He looks a little bit shorter, even though I know he's decent size. But I'm saying just thick. Then there's the kind of the no neck.
Really?
Yeah. When I see him, John, and I see him in his interviews, I see him inside the cage. He just has a little bit of that thickness to him. I feel like he's got power that people look at him and go like, you probably don't hit that hard. Then he touches you, you're like, oh, that's why people. That's
maybe you do hit hard.
That's why you're 13-1. I get it now. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And something about Irish, man, Irish boxers, Irish fighters, man, they seem to have a little pop in their punch, and he's one of those guys. Do I think he gets it done? No. No. As much as I wanted to say, like, I was so wrong in the AJ McKee fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. He looked good. AJ looked bad.
Yeah, but I'm not
AJ
gonna take it away from him.
No. I'm not. Again, he looked good, but AJ looked bad. He looked tired right away. He looked slow and sluggish, and that possibly could have been something that was from a shot from Hughes or anything like that. But this is the fight that's going to really show me exactly where Paul Hughes is at, because I know the guy that he's fighting is going to be in shape. He's going to be prepared, and I know how good he is everywhere.
Yeah, what normally takes place is that when fighters travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, which is across the country and in another country, and they get there, they either struggle with the weight cut or they struggle with adapting to the time zone, and they tend to hit a little bit of a adrenaline dump or just a dump in general for the fight. No matter how much you train in that 10 days or 5 days that you come out beforehand, however long you come out early, something seems to happen to you in that fight. When I talked to Johnny Eblett about it, it's happened to me in Japan. Like it happens to you. It's for real. You need to find a way to get all that out before. Well, Usman's he's been there training the whole time.
Yeah.
He was in Dagestan, training there. Then he made a little switch over the last couple of weeks into Dubai. He's been training there. And Paul Hughes is not far from there, but it's still a nice little jaunt over to the Middle East from Ireland. And so I'm looking at this fight. The fact is that he has to make that little travel, whereas Usman is comfortable. He's been there. He's been there quite a bit. Yeah. And he's got an established gym there. They make sure that all of his coaches are there. His main training partners are all there. I even actually talked to Habib the other day. I was like, hey, how's he looking? How's he feeling? He's like, brother, we have so many top level guys for him to train with. He's like, the guy that he's fighting, we have guys that are just the same as him, but just better. And I was like, okay. Like, he's just like, we have guys. So he's not worried. He's not concerned. Hopefully it all goes well. I agree with you. Mr. Sirkikalak is definitely should be his name. The side kicks, the question mark kicks, the way he's able to keep the range with the side kick and the push kicks and all the other stuff, along with long range boxing, it's phenomenal. His speed is very underrated. People look at him like, oh, maybe he's not that fast, but man, he snaps it quick. He makes sure that like his scrambles, Shabli wasn't able to stop any of the takedowns. Usman got in super deep, turned the corners. It was a fantastic fight, but Usman was just one step ahead. And I have very high expectations for Shabli, man. Fantastic fighter. I thought that was the one guy that may potentially be able to beat him. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't close. It was a close fight, but like it just came down to Usman was ahead every round.
There was never a time that he was behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But it was like all it took was one hard shot to start changing the what's it called? The momentum of the fight.
Yeah.
Yep. That never happened. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be good. But I look at Paul Hughes and I look at Shabli. I'd like to see the two of them fight.
Yeah.
That would be a great fight.
That would be a good fight too.
Two of them slugging it out. That'd be the next fight. Nemkov versus Tim Johnson.
Man,
what are they doing? Why are they doing this to Tim Johnson?
I hate this fight. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's Tim Johnson is a great guy, but he's a guy who is now in the position where they're using him for things. He was driving cattle across the country. Mm-hmm. Got put into the PFL tournament. Now they're going to put him in this one, but he's close to 40 years of age.
Yeah.
He's been fighting for a long time. He's a tough individual. I really enjoy Tim. He's a great human being. It's just that he's going up against a guy in Nemkov that's a problem. Nemkov is just good everywhere. He's got good wrestling, so it's going to cancel Tim's wrestling out. The one thing that Tim does, Tim's got size on him, mm-hmm. but speed-wise, it's going to be a huge difference and very difficult for Tim to get close to Nemkov without getting touched hard, because Nemkov's got power in his hands. He's got good speed. He's 32 years of age. He's right in the prime of his career. And also his coach has fought Tim, so his coach in Fedor is going to be able to give him a little bit of insight. And I hate this fight because I don't want to see Tim ever be in a fight where I don't think he can win. And this is one I don't think he can win.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets taken down, he won't be able to get up off his back and on the feet. Nemkov's a faster fighter with the hands as well
and
as
the kicks.
Fighter with the kicks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, even though Tim's probably the taller fighter, Nemkov's very flexible. His head kick comes so smooth.
Yep.
And it comes out. He comes out right behind his hands, so you don't see it coming. He's a fantastic fighter, man. So he was one of those guys that I thought, like, if they do wrap all this up, what is the PFL going to do with him? Because he's a fantastic fighter. He's very exciting. He looks for the finish almost every time, basically all the time. This is not a fight. I agree with you. This is not a fight I really care to see because I feel bad for Tim. This is not a fight that I see where Tim can win this fight. Ahmed Magomedov versus Nathan Kelly.
Man, I tell you, Nathan Kelly's a good fighter, but Ahmed is he is a tenacious, tough guy. He'll stand up. He's got heavy hands. He's got great wrestling. I wonder why Magomedov. Let's see. It's just one of those. Now, Kelly is a good submission guy. He's got a good grappling game, but he's not in a position to pull submissions off against Magomed, in my opinion. In this, this is going to be a very difficult fight for Nathan Kelly, but speed wise, I give it to Magomed. Just everything overall. I mean, he only had a couple of fights in Bellator, and now he's with the PFL as far as they switched him over. But I don't know. I just believe that Ahmed is the better fighter overall.
I agree. Ibragimov versus how do you say this?
Kenny Mokahana.
What?
Kenny Mokahana.
Mokahana. There you go.
Mokahana, yeah.
It's been a while since I've had to say his name.
Man, I'll tell you what, Kenny Mokahana is an athletic, fun fighter to watch. I really enjoy him.
No, you don't say that.
Come on, man.
He is.
He's from Ireland. He's got that body style that Josh talks about all the time. He's tall, long, and lanky. He's physically strong, but he makes mistakes. And that's the one thing that he cannot do against Ibragimov. Ibragimov is just solid, man. The guy is he doesn't make mistakes. He takes advantage. If you give him anything, he takes advantage of it. He's just damn good. He's got good submissions. He's got a really nice arm triangle, and I think that's how he's gonna submit Kenny in this fight.
I would agree. Any other fights on here you want to talk about?
Oh, let's see, what do they have as we're looking.
It's a lot of local talent.
Yeah, it is. A lot of talent from the Middle East there.
Are you going to be here, John?
Don't blame him. I am not. I am taking off on this card. There was no UFC. This is why I was stuffed in here. I am going to be taking off, getting out of here, doing something fun. Who knows? Yeah, but I'm not going to see that fight.
What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, well, let's move on to BKFC.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
To our boys.
Dude.
Jeremy Stevens and
KnuckleMania, babe. Yeah. And dude, they have actually gone after each other. I don't know if you've seen any of the press stuff on it.
I have, but John, before we get into this fight, though, let's talk about OnlyFans. Let's go ahead and jump us right over to OnlyFans. You guys need to subscribe us over there. It is free. Look, guys, we've been having a blast over there. We do our live show at least once a month. And let's be honest, man. If you guys want to see Dave and some boobies, we'll go ahead and show it to you. Like I
don't know. Josh is doing stuff with cans now, so
this is very true. But go ahead and join us on over there at OnlyFans. It is free. Subscribe to us over there. You get a free live chat with us over there once a month, and possibly sometimes even twice. But like I said, it's free, and look to join us over there. Go ahead there, Dave. Eddie Alvarez versus Jeremy Stevens. What do you think, John?
This is a fight where I look and first off, this is in Philly. That is Eddie's hometown. Eddie is going to be very difficult to beat in Philly, but Jeremy is a guy You know him. You know he's tough as nails. He is absolutely. He's not going to take a backward step to Eddie. He's going to go after him, and he does have the ability to put anybody away. So Eddie's going to have to be on his game. You know, they're both dogs. That's why they're in this, and I love the matchup. But like I do think it's going to be difficult in Philly to get past Eddie Alvarez.
And if he does get past him, man, he's got to get out of the parking lot.
He's got to get out of the stadium alive.
Did you just see the Philly person that was berating the girl?
Yes, I did.
They gave him a life ban out of the stadium, and then his video went public, and his job fired him.
Can you believe that?
The internet's going to do the internet. What the internet's going to do what the internet does, buddy.
I'm going to sit there and say something about that. In that, okay, he was wrong, flat out. I'm not going to, what he was saying, grow up, really stupid.
I'm surprised the guy didn't kick his ass.
Hello.
Bro, you say something like that to my girlfriend.
Thank you. Who are you sitting there filming? You're filming it, right? While he's saying this stuff. And that's your big thing is I'm going to film you and then put this out on TikTok or Instagram. Give me a fucking break, dude. I'm sorry. That was weak. Weak. Was it not?
Yeah. Oh, it was. I thought it was disgusting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just looked at it as like, I'm not saying the guy was right. He wasn't. He said stupid stuff. Don't be an idiot. It's a fucking football game. Enjoy it. But I will say,
I think that people act that fucking crazy over a home team, like over a football game, over a team. None of those players know your fucking name.
No.
Okay. The people that work for the Eagles don't know who the hell you are. I've been a Eagles season ticket holder for decades.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck. They just kicked you out real quick because that video went viral.
Yeah,
the internet's going to do what the internet does. And that motherfucker still hashtag and still. Yep. It's undefeated. That's what it is. And you saw exactly like the days of like people getting away with shit like that. I'm not saying people should be canceled, but let's be honest. The guy was being a total jackass.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit more upset of the dude filming it.
Thank you.
Your wife or your girlfriend? Really? Go ahead. You say something like that to my wife, I'm gonna fucking beat.
Dude, I had someone say something to my son, and he was an adult, and I got fucking pissed off.
Oh, yeah. We're not.
I was at the Kings when I was living in LA. Kings are in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs against the Rangers, right? So we're going. So I go with a bunch of different fight people and stuff, right? And my son is I take both of my sons go with me, and we got a big group, and I'm up in the stands, and this guy's got his New York Rangers stuff on. Okay, no problem. And then it's like stand up for the national anthem, right? He sits there with his hat on. Right? It's like, dude, have a little respect. Stand up. Right? He stands up. Take your fucking hat off. What the fuck? That was my whole. So I guess I started it.
You did. From everything I can gather right now, your fucking side of it's really the instigator. Go ahead.
Yes.
No matter how much I agree with you.
Okay.
You still
I said I think I started it. And so then the game goes on, and it's the Kings are winning, but the Rangers going scoring. This guy, he's turning around and stuff. And my son's actually having like a conversation with him that's normal. And then he basically he gives him, what? Fuck you. And I do. Bap.
Oh,
that started. Hey, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You want to have fucking conversation? Go ahead, but don't fucking say that
to a kid.
So that was the end of my Stanley Cup thing.
Who revoked it? The LA Kings or the
No, they put me in a suite, dude.
Rough life. Ooh.
Hey, it was cool.
Fucking little flex there from John.
Right? It was good. From that point on, I was always in a suite. It was great. But,
look, I think it's a fantastic fight. The grittiness from both of these fighters. Eddie's gonna be hard to beat in Philly. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. I really, honestly, when they matched this fight, I was like, holy shit. My only thing is that Jeremy he's not a big guy. And Eddie fluctuates quite a bit in weight. Eddie's not a big guy either. He's just thick.
Yeah, he's not. Eddie's not a huge frame, but he's muscular.
Yeah, he's got the thick back. You know, he's the Philly back. We call it the Philly back.
Yeah, oh,
it's not like a silver back, but
Tom
a
Brady.
Yeah,
he's got the Eddie Alvarez back.
Exactly. I'm like, holy shit, man! What do they do to you guys in high school?
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of pull-ups going on.
That's crazy. But this is going to be. Will the speed of Jeremy Stevens be a little much for Eddie? But then you look back, Eddie fought his last fight in bare knuckle was Mike
Perry, but his first was Chad Mendes.
Yes,
and Chad is fast.
Yes, Chad touched him, but let's not pretend that Jeremy Stevens is as fast as Chad Mendes.
No, it's not.
That's not the same. But that fight also too, Chad's smaller than Eddie. Eddie then went up and fought Mike Perry, and now coming back down. I mean, how much of this fluctuation of weight, man? Eddie's fought everywhere in his career.
Well, I think that this is at 100, and I want to say it's 170 pounds.
Okay. I mean, that's probably walk around weight for Jeremy, maybe a little bit. Jeremy walks
a little bit off,
76, 78, somewhere in there. Whereas Eddie probably walks around about 202.
Yeah.
Fucking thick legs and a big old. He's got a small waist with a big gadunk.
But if it's at, it's welterweight because bare knuckle basically uses the same weight class as MMA. So it's a welterweight fight. So it's got to be a 170.
Okay. The next fight is obviously a heavyweight fight because you got our boy.
Dude, this is a tough one to call because I'll tell you what, Terrell is good. He is made for freaking bare knuckle. He is from England. He is a stud. He fucking goes to the body well. He is tough as hell. He's just as big as Ben, I would say. They're both close to the same as far as, monster size. I think Ben weighs more. But yeah, Terrell is freaking a good fighter. I've watched him multiple times, and he takes a good shot. I think he's much faster than Ben. Ben's the one thing that we look at that he's kind of zombie-like. He just keeps marching forward, and he's got long arms and is able to get you. But when he can open up on you, look out because he's got power. But I honestly think that Terrell is the favorite in this. He should be the favorite.
I think he's the favorite. But look, anytime you're dealing with somebody like Ben Rothwell, man, just that he'll take a shot, club you down, just keep plotting after you. And John, a lot of these guys in this bare knuckle, they're good when they're fighting going forward. They're not good fighting going backwards.
Yeah.
And Big Ben has a way of making you step backwards.
He does. He makes most of his opponents are on their back foot. So it'll be interesting to see because Terrell likes to go forward too. So it might be they just stand in the middle. The whole thing has started off a toe the line. So as soon as they tell him toe the line, and tell him fight, they're just going to stand there and slug it out. It should be a great fight.
I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. And then the next fight with our girl.
Beck Rawlings taking on Starling. And this is a
rematch.
Man, it is a rematch. And it was a good fight the first time. Beck Rawlings, she's good at this sport.
Yeah.
She hangs in the pocket. She's tight with her shots. I mean, I give her, she's a much better bare knuckle boxer than she ever was an MMA fighter. And she was a tough MMA fighter. But I mean, she's damn good at this sport. And Starling is also, she's a good looking lady and she's fun to watch. And she'll stand and freaking just bang. She will go to the body. She'll come up. She's got a beautiful hook to the head.
She'll do what, John? She'll just stand and bang. What? Go ahead.
Stand and bang. That's not anything that you're
whatever, John.
Of.
You say what you want. Go ahead.
You go and do your thing with your can.
I'm not getting away from that one. Hey, look, I'm looking forward to this fight because the first fight was a good fight.
It was.
Starling definitely had the advantage, definitely won the fight, but Beck also was coming off the long way off, I believe.
She was.
Yeah, coming off the long way off. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight, though.
Yeah.
And look at Beck Rawlings is on OnlyFans as well. So if you guys follow us on OnlyFans, you guys can search over and see Beck Rawlings as well. So plenty of other MMA fighters and bare knuckle fighters and pro surfers and Formula One racers and tennis players, everyone on OnlyFans. Demetrius Johnson's on there. How bad could it really be if DJ's on there?
True point. Stipe
Miocic is on there.
Is Stipe on there now?
Yes, he is. Right before he fought John Jones, he signed a deal with them.
Okay.
So good for him. Hey, guys, we're going to wrap up our show here and go to WayneInMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel. WayneInMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. Also, Drink Element, link down below in the descriptions. Okay, free bonus package with every purchase, as well as BetUS YouTube 150 is the promo code. BetUS YouTube 150 is the promo code. And we want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us, support our sponsors. That's how you support us. Thank you. And make sure you guys sign up for our memberships. $4.99 for the giveaway membership, and also $1.99 for us to answer your questions on these super chats. Hey, look, we're having a blast with these. This is gonna be fun, John. Next week we do it again, same time, same place, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. And John, take us away, bud.
I will take us away, but I do have to ask one question. Dave, you had a half marathon. How did it go?
It went good. Yeah, I finished right about the same as I did last year. So I was about 12 seconds slower.
12 seconds. What was your time?
1 hour 27 and 45.
An
That's
hour
all right.
27:45.
So almost 128.
Slower. You know what it was, right? Is it he was up fucking watching?
Yeah,
the
like
fight.
your brain. You know how your brain is 12 seconds slower?
Are you talking to John?
No, I'm talking to you.
You can't be talking to me.
See, exact my point proven exactly.
Can't be talking to me. No, my brain just tunes out people like that. I'm over here trying to be positive. I was giving you props, love.
You said I sat up till you said I failed
You
to
did?
sit up to
Tell me,
midnight.
was I lying? Now the
I
truth.
don't think that's why I failed.
You know, why do you think? Why do you think you missed it by 12
Hold
seconds?
on, you didn't fail at all. Did
Yeah,
you go,
exactly.
Did you go and run?
I think I
that
went
run?
wrong.
You finished the damn thing. Like, what else do you want? That's not
That's it.
failing.
I want to be faster.
Okay,
Well,
next time. Little
Next
bit different training. Next time you'll do it.
I know.
So I'm very proud of you for going and doing that run.
Thanks, man.
You have been kicking ass as far as your running stuff. So good for you. For everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy your coming up weekend, and we will see you.